I haven't been on VR chat in almost 2 weeks due to the fact that I've been like delirious level 6, so we're just gonna go right back into it and see if I remember how to do anything. Let's go. Music, have you ever heard of it? It's all around us all the time. It's inescapable. Don't try to run from it. It knows what you did, and there's a missile strike on the way to your location. My relationship with music is really fucking weird in the sense that I don't have like a favorite genre. I just kind of vibe with whatever I like, which I realize is like the most stereotypical answer you could ever have, but that's literally me. I wouldn't say I'm a metalhead, but there's some heavy metal songs I really like. I'm definitely not a country fan, but I've heard some country songs in the past that I've bought my ass to, you know? And because I listen to a pretty eclectic variety of music, I figure who else better to gauge which albums are the best this year than me? And the answer is a lot more people than me, but I don't give a shit. 2024 was a fantastic fucking year for my music taste, personally. There's a lot of shit that I love this year, and I want to share it with all of you, even though if you're in my audience, you've probably heard of at least 75% of it. I am here to spread the love like I spread your dad's ass cheeks. I got a list of like 10 to 15 albums, I can't count, and now I'm just gonna give you a brief synopsis of the shit fuck. Let's go. Cracking open a cold one with the boys. If you've been longing for someone to fill the void in your 2008 to 2012 Deadmau5 heart, that's this shit right here. No Mana is a guy. He does this music shit and he does it quite well. It's mostly around kind of the house and techno genre, but there's a lot of elements of chiptune and other like video games. Even his art style, very pixelated when the drop hits. Hold on. There we go. The hard-hitting EDM beats with a twitch and nostalgia, twinge, whatever. Mixed with this art style that is just absolutely beautiful. I'm a bitch for pixel art. And between that, you got like 14 songs of awesome shit. Well, 13, I think. How many? Hold on. 14. There's technically 15, but I don't count the intro because it's 20 seconds. Fuck you. A lot of it is really pretty, but there's tracks especially like Everlasting and Ecstatic and Irresponsible. Those two are very nostalgic coded. The fact that I just said something is something coded is kind of dawning on me. Am I still hip with the youths? It is dawning on me very slowly that I am on the edge of being 30 years old. Hit the Ground is personally one of my favorite EDM tracks, I think, in recent memory, of course. You can't beat the classics, but this dude's shaping up to be a new one, so stream the shit. Or buy the shit, actually. Buy it. Buying's better. Fuck streaming services. When I first heard the song Heart 123 off of this album, I think I finally understood what it means to feel alive. The production is so goddamn ethereal and the vocals over it just add so much to that. What the fuck happened to my ear? Heart 123 is a definite highlight, but Caught Up in Circles and Take My Energy are both such fucking bangers. I'm a sucker for any kind of bass music like that, where it's not afraid to just like rip you to shreds sonically, but it still sounds so masterfully clean. I haven't listened to much of this artist's remaining stuff, but I feel like I have to, because she got good shit going on here. After Porter Robinson released The Worlds, we had to wait 7 years to get Nurture, so I was scared we were gonna have to wait another 7 years before his junior, when his junior album came out. It sounds weird. What's after sophomore? Whatever, fuck you. Point being, after Nurture, 3 years later, we got blessed with this shit. And now, if you're familiar with Porter Robinson's work, but you haven't listened to this album yet, I want you to take all of his past, like, decade of work, like the kind of what it sounds like sonically, and then toss that out the window, because this is a full 180. It leans a lot more into like pop and indie rock kind of stylings, which actually works really well. Cheerleader has one of the most addictive synth lines in the chorus that I've ever heard. You also got Perfect Pinterest Garden, which is such a fucking bop. Here the Cup, I actually made a music video for, because I just fucking love it that much. It is such a brutal song talking about addiction and the effects it can have on you. And then there's Russian Roulette, which is such a fucking fantastic and eclectic song about wanting to keep living your life even through all the bad shit. This particular bit of lyrics right here fucking hit me in the fifis. Is there really no happiness is the equivalent of crack, I think. There's these breakbeat drums going on in the background constantly, and the lyrics are just like molded in nostalgia. I don't know if that's a good way to say it. Fuck you. If y'all want good music analysis, go to Anthony Fantano. This ain't that shit. I definitely think if you're into like kind of the more upbeat indie rock kind of side of things, you'll love this. And if you're also a past Porter fan, you'll probably love this too if you're a fan of not necessarily how the music he writes sounds, but how it makes you feel.
Cut me open just to watch me bend. I run into it blind like two-face caught in the middle.
I don't even know why I'm including this one, to be honest. You know who Linkin Park is. Like, I don't have to explain anything. But for the three of you that are unaware, Linkin Park is a band that started in the late 90s and disbanded in 2017 after Chester Bennington, the lead singer, proceeded to commit Roblox oof. But obviously you know that because the entire world felt it when it happened. I remember working at my job at a fast food chain when I was on break and my friend told me the news, and then I proceeded to start weeping in the bathroom. He was an absolutely amazing vocalist, and 7 years later it still hurts to say was, because it's like he's still here. But he's not, unfortunately. And in a situation like that, you wonder how the hell a band like Linkin Park is supposed to go forward, if they go forward at all. For the longest time, they were like, we don't know if we're ever going to do Linkin Park shit again. So imagine my surprise when 7 years later, I got this music video just in my recommended that was uploaded half an hour ago by the Linkin Park channel, and I'm like, my first reaction was the primal fear, because I was like, holy shit, there's no way they're continuing to do this thing. Like, nah. I had no idea how the hell they were supposed to go forward with having to make such a drastic change as this, but they are. And I'm kind of happy they are. From Zero is the 8th album in Linkin Park's catalog. It features a new drummer and a new singer, and both of them slot so well into the roles that they've had to fill. Colin Brittain, I don't know. Colin What's His Fuck is a fantastic drummer, and Emily Armstrong, wow. I got that music video in my recommended like 2 months before the album came out, so it's a very fast rollout, and I'm happy to say that all the songs on it are really good. Emptiness Machine and Heavy is the Crown are both just instant classics. Then you got Overflow and Stained, which are like, I'll wait for the music video to start back up. Yeah, there we go. Then Overflow and Stained are just 2 of my favorite tracks in general. They're a lot slower, but lyrically they're so fucking potent. And all the tracks kind of call back to different eras of Linkin Park. Songs like Cut the Bridge and Casualty are so familiar to the Hunting Party. Heavy as the Crown is so Meteora. Two-Face is Hybrid Fury, just written all over it. I think they do a really good job. I think they do a good job paying homage to like the past era that they had of Chester, and now just kind of acting like a bridge between that and still going forward while honoring everyone's legacy. Now, I do see a lot of people saying that they don't like Linkin Park returning, or that they should have changed the name, and if you're one of those people, cool, I guess. I mean, it's not going to stop me from listening to the music. Underscores is one of my favorite artists right now, and the fact that she's opening for Porter Robinson's tour during the European leg but not the American leg makes you want to commit war crimes. This album technically came out in 2023, but the deluxe edition came out in this year, so I'm counting it. Fuck you. Once again, another very eclectic mix, but the entire thing is written around a fictional town called Wallsocket in Michigan, I want to say. There was like a whole ARG for this shit, dog. There were like multiple like websites made up surrounding this town and surrounding how Underscores was just kind of there being a gremlin. And all the instrumentals sound kind of like what I imagine the Midwest is like, you know what I mean? A lot of the album centers around the 3 girls that are appearing randomly in the video behind me. And there's like a whole story and shit going on, but even if you don't have that, the music still sounds fucking bomb. Cops and Robbers fucks, Locals fucks, duh fucks. Shoot to Kill, Kill Your Darlings is actually probably my favorite song, even though it seems to be everyone's least favorite wherever I go online. Uncanny Long Arms is very dramatic, takes you on a fucking Germany? There's even some guest vocals and production from Jane Remover on there, which I'm not a fan of like all of Jane Remover's stuff, but the stuff I do like from her, I love a lot. If you like rock with a little bit of like hyperpop elements, you'll probably like this. Everything is good. I was introduced to them early last year by a couple of friends, and since then I have been mesmerized by their work. I haven't been too good about being on top of their releases since I came into them so late. They're already 6 albums deep. It's a little bit overwhelming, but if you ever want to check them out, or if you haven't heard what the fuck I'm talking about at all, now's the time. Mountainhead's a great record. I had that shit on repeat for a while. Every single song is such an eclectic mix of sounds, but it still ties together so cohesively. The fact that you got tracks like End of the Contender and then Canary as well on the same track is pretty cool, because they are very different stylistically, which I guess is the point of an album. You wouldn't want every song in an album to sound the same. So in that case, they're doing the bare minimum, but they're doing the bare minimum well. I'm great at talking myself into holes. Don't Ask Me to Beg, super duper good one. Sure thing, everything. I won't ask you to beg. I'll ask you to whimper. And they also got some really cool fucking music videos, like you can see behind me here. They're pretty cool. I recommend, it's not from this album, but I recommend the Night of the Long Knives music video. That's one of my favorite directorial things ever. Just fair warning if you have photosensitive epilepsy, because oh my god, that shit can go crazy. Def's Dynamic Shroud is a lot. Their styles changed pretty significantly from like every LP. Like 2015's I'll Try Living Like This was very vaporwave centric. Dark Life was a lot more like still vaporwave, but also had some like synthwave and power electronic elements. And then this record, I don't, it is very all over the place. It is a lot of chaotic energy. It's not overwhelming to any degree, but it is like, it fills up the airwaves just enough with a bunch of like hyper pop elements. There's still a bit of vaporwave in there. Structurally, it is just entirely chaos. As you can tell by the music video behind me, I can definitely say that no 2 Def's Dynamic Shroud albums are the same, and this is no exception. This is good shit. I haven't listened to much of Galen Tipton, so I don't know exactly what their catalog looks like, but Def's Dynamic Shroud, good shit. Generate Utopia, the one going on behind me here, is a very good one. I also like the Crypto Resort Grift, because good title. But if you like kind of IDM, vaporwavy, breakbeat stuff. You'll dig this. You'll dig it.
Got a crush on you. Do you crush on me too? Thinking of you.
Too Hollis is, wow. I haven't listened to much of his stuff, but I have listened to this boy album like so many times in a row. The production kind of scratches an itch for me. It almost gives me a Sophie vibe, the way that stacks on so much super saw. The vocals kind of give me SoundCloud rapper vibes, unfortunately, but I feel like they kind of work in this thing. Songs like I Saw It Flash Before Me and Teenage Soldier are very big standouts, along with You Once Said My Name for the First Time, which features the Soulja Boy U sample just halfway through it. It's not often that I'm just listening to a song, getting so absorbed into it, and then I burst out laughing because something happened that was so stupid, but it didn't break my immersion with it at all. Another shout out to the fact that there's two songs called Say It and then Say It Again. It does occasionally lean into the meme side of things, but overall it is a very emotionally potent album with some pretty, I wouldn't go as far as to say experimental production, but it is delightfully grating on the ears at points. Slut is one of my favorite music artists of all time, and before you ask, yes, I shower regularly and I try to touch grass at least once a day. After the absolutely amazing and incomprehensibly sad final release under the alias, they disappeared for 2.5 years, and I figured that they were just done forever and they were never going to come back for understandable reason. And then they posted something to their story, and then they hinted that they were releasing something, and then the thing they were releasing dropped at midnight. And I had a mental breakdown. I'm not going to go into their backstory or why their last album was the last album, because that's super easy to find online, and it's no point in dragging it out here. But hearing that they were coming back was just... fuck, man. I remember early May, I was just sitting in my office, just checking my phone, and then I noticed that there was a story on their Instagram teasing this upcoming release over here. And then I spent the next hour just in the fan Discord I'm in, just freaking the fuck out. It felt so similar to like when you're finally getting hyped for something that's like just on the verge of coming out and you're like, oh my god, I couldn't focus on work for the rest of the day, dog. I was tuned into that shit. And then the first time you listen to it, oh god, I was in fucking heaven, dude. If you're familiar with Let's Past Work, like it's just like that, but a lot more polished. Why do I keep looking this way? You're over there. Hello, hi, nice to meet you. Can I get you anything behind the fourfall? So if you haven't heard of this artist before, first of all, lucky you. Second of all, if you're a fan of like atmospheric drum and bass or any kind of jungle stuff, I cannot recommend their work enough. Particularly this album here, because I'll admit part of it is the bias of the fact that this is the first release in 2.5 years and it's mega cathartic. But on top of that, the production is just really good. Death of the Endless, I think, is one of my favorite drum and bass tracks I've heard in like this decade. Monolithic Science Tsunami really just sounds like a monolithic science tsunami, like you're in the middle of an ocean, like that one fucking artsy video I did. Remember the one where I was naked and you got a view of my ass? Lychee Ice is probably one of my top songs. I'm pretty sure it is my top song. When Spotify Wrapped comes out, like, I have a feeling this album's gonna be all fucking over it. Genuinely cannot recommend checking out the record enough. Definitely one of the highlights of the year. Next. If you're looking for some more kind of wacky electronics and jungle stuff, TURQUOISEDEATH is an up-and-comer that I think is doing good shit. They released Se Bueno last year, which is like a electronica shoegaze type thing, which is really neat. And then Kaleidoscope, it doesn't really reinvent the wheel, which is nice, but I'd still love it sonically. Glimmer, Subterrane, and Leviathan Sanctuary are all worthy of the praise that they're getting. Underneath as well is a 10-track epic going through a different variety of genres and shit. Really feels like its own journey. Every song on this kind of feels like its own journey, you know what I mean? Some artists are just very good at like implementing visions and pictures into your head, and TURQUOISEDEATH does it quite well. Sometimes the cover art on albums doesn't really complement the music too well, like it can seem a little bit disconnected from the musical context it's in. But this album, no, the cover art is how it sounds. I can 100% testify to the fact that this sounds like you're in an ocean in camo gear just DJing on saw blades. This is the kind of music I'd imagine you would hear on like a futuristic oil rig or something. Dewdrop Signal is probably one of my favorite songs in this kind of styling. The entire album is pretty one note thematically, but it's different enough where every song doesn't really bleed in together, which is oftentimes what I feel happens with a lot of stuff. Spawn 01, Alloy Flea, and Germ Chrism. Those 4 tracks are all dope, but I definitely recommend just giving this entire album a spin, just one after the other. I go on the website Album of the Year sometimes because I hate myself, and one of the people there said that AgonyOST is Burial if he was non-binary and depressed, and yeah. If you're into dark kind of UK garage type beats, you're going to be into this album, for real on God. No cap. There's a lot of straightforward kind of garage tracks on it, such as like Sad Spliff and The Throws, but there's also a lot more heavy kind of pumping tracks like Void Enamor, which is one of my favorite tracks of the year. It still has the UK garage as a through line, but it definitely is a collage of genres that I appreciate. Machine Girl is a guy. He has been doing some very weird shit with his production for the last decade, and that is still very much here on this new album. He does branch out a little bit though, such as on Mother Father, where it goes from like a kind of IDM garage type beat to just like a straight up a rock song, sounding like it was just recorded in someone's garage. Most of the tracks are still the standard kind of hardcore breaks that you expect from Machine Girl, but there are a couple more kind of house tracks like Grindhouse. I did not hit the analog stick, fake news, didn't happen. Cicadas as well is another fire one. There's even some very small and few in between moments of reprieve, like in Half Asleep, which is a very kind of laid back, more ambient track. Overall, this is another case of this album being a definite experience. Not quite as balls to the wall crazy as their other stuff, but that isn't really a detriment per se. I didn't really count this as an album, but there is an EP they released earlier this year as well, which is a song called Black Glass and Dance in the Fire on it. Those are both bangers as well. Please go check them out or I will skin you alive. Sometimes I don't bother listening to an album because I feel like I've already experienced everything about it vicariously through everyone just loving it online already. And that was me with BRAT. I never even bothered to listen to it because I already knew a little bit about Charli XCX and I saw this album everywhere I fucking went. So I was like, I don't need to listen to it. Like I'd already kind of got it all. But I didn't get it all. If you don't know who Charli XCX is, first of all, how are you watching this video? But second of all, she's a pretty regular like pop artist at first glance, but the songs that are on here, they're so masterfully and experimentally produced, and the lyrics and the stuff that she sings about are so abstract and in your face in nature. Not to mention, this music video is fucking great. Look at this shit, isn't that cool? Von Dutch is cracked to my eardrums. Everything is Romantic is such a stream of consciousness manufactured track, and you can tell, but it works perfectly. I even love the way she says again as like again, fall in love again and again, fall in love again and again. And even the bits that you would imagine would be cringy, such as the super honest lyrics about girl-to-girl friendships on Girl So Confusing. And the song I Might Say Something Stupid. I've been saying stupid shit for 28 years. There's even a song on here called So I, which is a tribute to Sophie that I'd swear did not make me cry on first listen. I don't care what genre you're into, but if you're anywhere close to liking electronic elements or pop music in general, BRAT is definitely worth a listen. To the 3 people that haven't listened to it yet, because I'm very behind on this. I hope you enjoyed this list. I hope you find something that you like in it. If you're wondering why your favorite album wasn't on here, it's because I hate you. I hope you found something you like, and whether or not you did, like I said, you can leave a comment recommending me some fucking albums. I'm not trying to get you to push me into the algorithm. I just genuinely want to know. Odds are I'll probably listen to it in about 2 years because I'm very bad at following up with shit. I'm gonna be linking shit below. I'm gonna try as much as possible to link to stuff on like Bandcamp because fuck streaming services. If you're able to support artists directly, you definitely should. But if you're not in a good financial spot, streaming is still okay. I just like to try and support the artists directly when I can, so I know that 90% of the money isn't going directly into whoever the fuck runs Spotify into the ground anyway. Shout out to the patrons: Gordon, Kai Mono, Foxy Boy, Kylecray95, Jargy Roo, Theo Firefox, Serial Saurus, Beast King Barbaros, Uber Bounty, Joel, Aki, Squall, and Noodle HD. As well, a thank you to the donors on Ko-Fi: Apple Juice Dragon, Beast Sugar, Barrow, Dribby, Theo Firefox, Gordon, Kakaro, Levy, Enjoy.tj, Uber Bounty, and Welcome the Wolf. If I still sound like I have a cold, no I don't, shut up.